University of Florida alums. Okay, that's okay. As we start a real introduction of Patric Young, now the recording started. So yeah, so Patric was a basketball star, played at University of Florida. Many of our associates are graduates from University of Florida. So you feel that friendship already, that relationship already. Not only that, he actually was the SEC, so Southeast Conference, I would say forward and defensive player of the year for 2 times in SEC when he played at UF, and academically super strong athlete. He was the academic All-American as well, and the very first for SEC basketball player to be 3 times Scholar of the Year. So just tremendous, tremendous accomplishment, even when he was a college basketball player. And of course, he went on to sign with New Orleans Pelicans of the NBA, and also later on played at EuroLeagues. But then last year, 1 week before his wedding, tragedy struck, and I'll leave all of that inspiring story to be told by himself for all of us to learn. But for all of those folks who know Patric really well, I'm sure including Robert, that tragedy wasn't the ending of an amazing career, but a beginning of a life-changing past. So let's hear from Patric and give a big round of applause. So welcome, Patric.
I have a microphone. Am I able to get my laptop over here? Yeah, I think so. Perfect. Toss that right there, if that's okay. Awesome, perfect. Everyone, thank you so much for having me. This is a huge honor for me. What a perfect time right before the holidays to have an opportunity. We know this is a time where we focus on gratitude. I don't know why we don't do that more often, right? It's something that we should practice. You say practicing gratitude because it's something you continue on with. You don't just do it one time. So I hope this speech that I have today for you, this word, is going to empower you and remind you of something that we should do continually. I mean, research even shows that practicing gratitude can change your health, can change all dynamics and aspects of your life. So before diving in, I just got to take this all in because I envisioned having opportunities like this one day, just speaking to the masses or having a message to tell people one day about this thing, whatever that thing was. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but I just knew in my heart that I was going to share something with somebody and it was going to matter. If you would have told me that getting in a life-altering car accident would give me this platform, I don't know if I would have accepted it. I don't know if I would have wanted that, right? It's a tough cards to be dealt. But honestly, and it's, people often go through crazy things and they say, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm still trying to get to that point where I say, like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But in all honesty, taking away what I've relied on the majority of my life, my physical strength, being called Superman, the Beast, all that, and that being my value and the way I saw myself, this has forced me to put myself into a position where, all right, who are you when that's not your identity anymore? And it's a great place to be because when you are in a position where the thing that you thought was of value, something that was kind of external, you have to look within. And being faced with the reality and the fragility of my mortality just forced me to look deep within and say, all right, Patric, what matters the most? What is your life going to mean now? What can you do? Instead of living in a pity party, because your life isn't over, you have the opportunity to choose joy. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done in this time. And we have a little demonstration to start off because, in this trial, again, I still want to show that I do still have Superman qualities at times. I still do work out as much as I can. We were going to go with a squat competition, but I knew I was going to lose that one right away. So we're gonna go with a dip competition. I wanna use it as an illustration as I'm going into my talk. So before I just choose Megan, is there anyone brave in the audience that will okay, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So one thing, there's a reason I wanted to do a demonstration. I wanted to make this interactive. And also I'm doing physical therapy right now, 5 days a week, 5 hours a day, because I was told in approaching this situation that if I want to change, if I want to get to start doing more progressive things with physical therapy, I need to be able to do 50 dips in a row. 50 dips in a row. And sometimes doing something crazy that it seems like I'll never be able to do that. Why do we often talk to ourselves in that way? I can't do that. I'm not good enough. This fill in the blank with the self-limiting belief, whatever that thing may be. Why do we always discount ourselves from doing something before we've even started? So I hope you haven't done that, my friend. You got a chance. We'll see about it though. All right. So let's hop on down. And I have not done 50 in a row yet. I've gotten close. I've done 40. It's really hard, but we're going to do a quick little dip competition. Let me get that, bring it a little bit closer for me. Thank you. And my occupational therapist, she says I need to work on my grace coming down. So if I hit the ground kind of hard, I'm fine. I'm fine, I promise you. There we go. There we go. That wasn't too bad. No pressure at all.
There's only 3 people watching online. Probably can't do what you're about to do.
Oh.
I'm trying.
All right, get that foot up there. Perfect. All right, my friend. What's your name?
Ray.
Ray? You ready to go? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
48, 49,
My man. We didn't plan that. Wow. Make sure I get that recording, please. Oh goodness, wow. Ray. Wow. So as I'm getting back into my chair, the basis of what I wanted to talk to everybody today, I want to leave you with 3 things. In this time of gratitude, these are all lessons that I've learned through this time, this crazy life-altering journey. And it's so awesome. Revelation is revealed truth. And so many things have been revealed to me through this journey. And 3 phrases, they might not make sense to you right now, but I'll go in depth on them. The first one is, the seeds you water will blossom. The second phrase, the chair is not the solution. And the last one is, one day and someday do not exist. So, a little bit about myself. Oh. Well, I can get up. Yeah, just hold it for me. Perfect. Sometimes you gotta ask for help even though you think you don't want it. And just like that. Think about these slip-on shoes. They come on easily and they go off easily as well. Gosh. Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
Another shoe for you.
Yep. Superman needs help sometimes too. So a little bit about me. I'll go without him. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. My wonderful dad has joined us here today. Done a fantastic job of raising me. And he helped me to build a foundation of being positive. My dad has a wonderful, radiant smile that will light any room up. And he's passed that on to me, and I'm so thankful for that. Just always been able to, as I said before, the seeds you plant, or the seeds you water, are what is going to blossom. So I grew up here, played basketball at Paxton High School, went to Providence. I was a McDonald's All-American, top player in the country, all those great things, all those great accolades. I brought so much value in myself from, again, my physical abilities, from what these rankings and scouts and all these things and people were saying about me. So I won't go and bore you with all the details when I was at University of Florida. We won a lot of games, things are great. But the biggest thing that I learned there was I cannot, and we cannot allow our value within ourselves be driven by external factors, by external influence. Because those things are great, don't get me wrong. When you're on the court, it's nice to have the fans yelling your name, make the big shot, the dunk, all those things are nice. But when those things go away, who are you? What's driving you? And self-awareness helps you cultivate and understand who you really are, obviously. And when I was able to finally say, hey, you know what? When all that stuff goes away, who am I? I love the game of basketball. I love the work. I love the process. When I was able to, like, nothing else mattered to me at that point. And it just helped me to think about that in my life. Am I allowing other people to dictate how I look at myself? And if I am, why would I do that? Why would I allow other people to say, hey, you're cool today and you're not cool tomorrow? To go on that roller coaster of emotions, or in the way that I view everyday circumstances. So when I was in the hospital, I'll tell you quick about my story. I met my wife in college. I wish she was here. I met her 10 years ago, actually, 11 years. And I had to grow up. It took me 10 years of growing up till finally she would allow me to take her hand and wed her. And we're preparing for our wedding. She lives up in Nebraska. She's from Nebraska, but we went to University of Florida together. I'm still out of breath from those dips, Ray. What in the world? Bro, are you good? You're fine, man. I do this every day. Like, I don't want. Anyways, I was up in Nebraska with the family, just cultivating our relationship as we're preparing for our wedding date on July 9th. And I was doing a little bit of manual labor. I've been working a desk job for my first 2 real jobs. And I said, you know what, let's mix it up. Let's do something, let's try something new, get out in the field. I was working some irrigation pivots and was getting my hands dirty. I loved it. I loved getting an opportunity, experiencing something new. And I was doing it for about 2 weeks. And that last day on June 29th, I was coming back from doing a job. I was on an old dirt road. And the stop sign just came up on me so quick. I wasn't familiar with the road. I wasn't speeding. I was going about 30, 35 miles per hour. As soon as I'm coming down the slope, the stop sign was about 20 feet away. So there wasn't enough time for me to stop. And the first thing in my mind was, get out of the way. Oh my goodness. Is there a car coming from this side or this side on the intersection? Get out of the way. And my car goes completely parallel to the road and flips one time over in this ditch. And the way that my body was contorted as it's going down caused me I felt a pop in the middle of my back. I just knew something was wrong immediately. Couldn't feel my legs. I was panicked. And first thing I did, call my wife. And I wish she was here. She was so calming. I was freaking out, as you can imagine, in this time. I'm down this ditch by myself. Thank goodness I could grab my phone, because if I couldn't, I would have been down there for who knows how long. probably wouldn't be here sitting with you guys right now. So I was able to get help. I was flown in from Nebraska to South Dakota, where I had to have immediate surgery on my back, 8.5 hours, 2 rods, 12 screws, the whole deal. And I'm just thinking in that time, why? Why me? What did I do wrong? What's the future going to look like? Just every question of uncertainty that you can think of in this time, my mind was just paralyzed by that. But I was so comforted that I've planted seeds and watered seeds of good relationships, that of people that loved me, not because of what I did, not because of how I performed, not because of any of those things, of how I looked. They loved me for me. So when I was broken and down, they embraced me. And I have so much gratitude for my family. Friends just dropped their lives immediately, came up there to see me. Just blown away by that level of love and gratitude. So at that time, I said to myself, all right, let me stop thinking about the past. Let me stop thinking about the future. Life is now. Like, life is right now. There's nothing we can do about the past. We don't know what the future holds. So the best thing I can do for myself, because every part of me, every part of you is right here, right now. And the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to live each moment we have to the fullest and not worry about the past and the future. So how I came up with this phrase, the seed you water will blossom, was from a nurse case manager when I was at the first hospital. She said to me, she said, Patrick, I've been doing this for 25 years, dealing with emergency neuro and spinal cord injuries patients. She said, I've noticed this thing about patients, how they handle the situation that they've been through. There's two seeds in your life. There's a seed of positivity and a seed of negativity. And you get a choice. Like, no matter what circumstances that you face, nothing takes away your power of having a choice of how you're going to perceive and how you're going to act, the effort you're going to put forth in those situations, those circumstances. Nothing takes that away from you. So she said, when you're faced with everyday decisions, you're watering one of those seeds every single day. Positivity, gratitude, whatever it may be on this side, negativity, anger, bitterness. So when a crisis like this happens, that seed is going to blossom. And you're going to go down one path or the other. And again, I'm not discounting the difficulties and the severities of people's situations that they end up facing. But to say that you're giving up and relinquishing and abdicating your choice in the situation of how you're going to perceive it, if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, then why can't we view our situations as blessings and not burdens, as opportunities for growth, as opportunities for us to learn, for saying, hey, we are all from different backgrounds and experiencing different things, but we all share the human experience. So why not make the most out of our human experience? So when I was able to reframe my mind to that gratitude, to that thankfulness, I said, you know what? I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to outlast the temporary, outlast the circumstance by choosing joy. I'm going to give life the middle finger, because life is telling me this is how you should be. You should be mad. You should be angry. You should be bitter. All these things. And I said, you know what? Guess what, life? I'm not choosing that. You're not taking away my choice. I'm going to be joyful in this time. And I challenge everyone in this time of gratitude, of Thanksgiving, of being around our families and friends. Allow your hearts just to really marinate in that. And don't let it fizzle out. Like, every day we get a choice. As I said, research shows practicing gratitude. Say, I'm thankful for these 3 things in the morning, 3 things at night. It really will affect the way that you perceive yourself and your life. So the next thing, the chair is not the solution. It's like, what the heck is that? What does that mean? So I was in Denver after I was in South Dakota for 2 weeks. The shock of the initial, as you can imagine, of that time of phase was really difficult. Just understanding that my body's different. There's so much education that you're learning with spinal cord injuries. I was transferred over to Craig Hospital in Denver. And there they helped me to have independence, get up out of my chair, off the floor, things like that, learning how to do those things, bowel bladder treatment or care, all these types of things. But They give you hope for independent life, but hope for walking again was kind of, and I get it, in the healthcare field, medical field, you need to be guarded because the things you can say, people can take it the wrong way, have false expectations. But oftentimes that little touch of hope, when you are, I am internally motivated, but sometimes it does take that coach, that friend, that loved one to say, no, I see where you want to go. I know what you're thinking. I know what you believe in yourself. You dream. I believe in you and I'm going to help you get there. So I come back here to Jacksonville in August and I go to Brooks Rehab Hospital down in University, and a really good friend of mine now, his name's John. He's the physical therapist that does pool aquatic therapy. And I'm going in there just kind of not very high, not very joyful at the time because I'm having my days. And John says I wasn't able to do pool work with him this first time. And he says, hey, let's just talk. Let's get to know each other. Let me do a little evaluation. So we go through the evaluation. And he says, Patrick, you're going to walk. And I'm like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. It's like, trust me, I've been doing this for 25 years. You have the opportunity. If you put the work in, you can walk. You're going to walk again. Like, you have the core strength. It's like telling me these things that I check off on the list that with the work, it can happen. But he said, you're not going to like what it's going to take, but this is what it's going to take. He said, the chair is not the solution. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, there's a curve. There's a graph. There's function and there's a time, and time on the other side, on the X and Y axis. And over time, if you want to learn get your natural function of walking again, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to slow and then come up, but it could take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. There's people that have taken 10 years to recover. But by you being in this wheelchair, time has been shortened and you have the function of being able to move around and have that type of independent life. But as far as the signals being sent down to your nerves, there are none. If all of us just sat down for hours, days, weeks, there's no signals being sent down to our legs. He said, for you having a spinal cord injury, how much more do you need it? So he said, when you go home, when you're home, I want you out of the chair. I want you on your tummy. Tummy time, big boy. Said, it's tummy time. Every day, he said, tummy time. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, think about babies. How do babies learn how to walk? They start on their backs. They're looking up. They're starting to use their neck muscles. Then they learn how to roll over. Then they're on their belly. Oh, having a spasm right now. Then they get on their belly. Then they learn how to reach up and they start to pull themselves. And he said, I want you to treat your recovery the same way. And he said, you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but this is what it's gonna take. He said, those that have breakthrough understand that it's going to be really uncomfortable and they pursue that. It's like, and he ended, he said, do you wanna walk? So yeah, he said, that is the way, the obstacle is the way. And then he looked to my wife and he said, Whitney, the biggest hurdle in this journey for him is learned helplessness. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Learned helplessness. By him saying, I can't reach this, I can't do this, I can't, babe, help. It's like, you were allowing him to cripple himself from believing that he can do anything. That just because he physically is different, he's like, don't be a Nazi about it to an extent that, you can't help him, like feed him every now and then or make dinner. But for the most part, don't help him at all. And I'm like, all right, within a month or two of me committing to that, already I started getting more sensation and things activated. And I don't know what the science of that thing is, but in our lives, if we don't take a step of faith, a step of something that we might not be good at, but no one gets good at something without taking action. Nothing changes if nothing changes. The definition of insanity: expecting a different result, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, I'm a man of faith. And the Bible uses the word patience a lot, but I like the word long suffering. Some versions say long suffering. And the reason I like that is because sometimes we have to give time. It's going to take that diligent, that one thing, the mindset, I need to get 1% better today. That's it. Let me just get 1% better. 1% or even 0.5%. Let me just work towards that goal. We don't know when it's going to be the time for our breakthrough to happen, but if you're not doing anything towards that, and we all have an expiration date. What are we waiting for? The time is now. And that leads me to my last point. One day and someday don't exist. Last time I checked the calendar, I haven't seen one day or someday on the calendar once. But I fair to say tomorrow doesn't exist, but that's a little morbid, right? But the best thing we can do is to look at each day, and I'm not saying, YOLO, you only live once type thing, but how can you maximize what you've been given, the gifts, talents, abilities, your sphere, your platform. And again, to this point, I'm not coming to this group, whoever's listening, from me being this high and mighty over any, like I'm talking to myself too. I need to read, I need to preach to myself sometimes to encourage myself that, hey, Pat, this is the journey that you're on, because going the opposite way is not going to help me get better. It's not going to help my wife, my daughter. It's been the biggest blessing that my wife just is so proud of me and how I've handled things, that my daughter has never said one day, what's wrong with Patrick? He seems different today. And again, I've had my days where I just don't feel like it. I'm sad, I'm down, but I say, you know what? I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it because this is all I got. And the circumstances aren't going to change unless I choose to. And I want to leave you guys with one last story. Oh, actually, before I think about that, when I go to the story, I was thinking about it. There was a quote that I really liked when talking about the self-limiting beliefs. Like him or hate him, Kobe Bryant was extremely successful at what he did. He found a way to greatness. And I started to understand Kobe a little bit better because I didn't hate it. I used to hate Kobe. I didn't like the way that he treated his teammates, whatever it may be. And then I started to learn a lot more about him after he retired, because he was more vocal about how he functioned. Kobe was allergic to average. He was allergic to average. He worked so hard that when he's around his teammates and they're like, I don't want to work, I don't want to push myself, I don't want to do this, it was just hard for him to say, like, what are you talking about? Like, get away from me. Like, get behind me, Satan. Like, type thing. Like, get behind me. Like, I want to be great. I want to be a champion. And we see he won 5 championships in a row. And he was doing the interview with Jay Shetty, one of my favorite influencers I listen to. He wrote the book, Think Like a Monk. He said, Kobe, how do you fight human nature? It's easy. You won 5 championships. Like, you have your days where you don't want to work as hard. Kobe said, I don't negotiate with myself. I have the resolve that when I make a decision that I'm going to do something, I don't say, I'm a little sore today. I know I said I'd knock down 500 shots, 250 is okay or whatever, and fill in the blank with whatever thing you want to say. But when we start to negotiate with ourselves, we have a goal that we that's why at the beginning of the year, every year, people have a resolution at the gym or whatever it may be. And then they don't get enough sleep the next day. I'll skip the gym this one day. I'll skip the gym. Then it turns into a cycle before you know it, you quit. You quit before the year, and it's February. What? What happened? So I'm not saying that we have to be perfect, but if we don't set the standard for ourselves, nobody else will. People either are happy that you're complaining or they just don't care. No one can I'm sure my dad, when I got in my accident, he would switch places with me in a heartbeat, but he can't. And no one can switch places with you with what you've been given. Your unique abilities, the talents you have, it's not going to happen overnight. We live in a time where instant gratification is what people want. I want it now. I want it faster than now. I want it yesterday. It's not possible. In the journey, in this human experience, don't get lost in just people as well, that we all have goals and things that we want to do and achieve, but don't use people and love things. Love people and use things. Love people and use things. I have the last story that I want to share. It's called 50% Peach. So I was on a mission trip a few years ago, and a pastor friend of mine shared it with me. I give him credit every time because it's a really good story. Sorry about my legs. It's natural. It happens. Spasticity with spinal cord injuries. It's actually a good sign. So he said he moved to a different city, him and his wife, when they first got married, and he bought some maturing peach trees. And typically with a peach tree, it takes about, I think it's 2 years that you don't allow it to produce any fruit. And then you give it, like when that first year is ready, you prune 50% of the buds for that tree to produce the correct amount of fruit. So my friend, being hard-headed, he tries within the first 1 to 2 years to start producing fruit. It doesn't work out because the tree needs to let those roots grow. Let those roots spend all the energy going down. It's not about producing fruit in those first 2 years. Let the roots go down. So that third year comes along, and he's like, it can't be 50%. You can't have to take 50% of the peaches. Let me take off 20. Let's see what happens. So he takes off 20% of the buds off the tree, and it's time for the harvest. And the peaches come out really small and spotty and ugly and not edible. It's like, man, all right, you know what? Let's give it another year. Let's see what happens this time. You would think you figured it out by now, right? You would think so. Peaches are delicious. That's my favorite fruit. Oh my goodness. So the next year comes, he takes off 30%. Takes 30% of the buds off, comes to harvest, and the peaches come out a little bit better, but they're still not optimal size. So finally, in the next year, he says, you know what? Let me just be humble in this time and see what happens if I do it the right way. Takes 50% off of the buds, peaches come out immaculate. And I just love how nature can just show us how we can live our lives and understand how we go about our journeys. When you're making that decision of who you are and where you want to go, sometimes you have to go through a season, a year or two, where you just plant your roots. You don't worry about producing fruit. Because we have to understand, when a tree produces fruit, who is the fruit for? It's not for the tree. It's for others. It's for others to experience those things. So we put the work in, we stay up late, we have discipline, we sacrifice, we practice gratitude. Instead of what we don't have and where we're not, we focus on what we do have and where we are, because it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be in the game, to have a chance. So we focus on our roots. Then, all right, it's time to have our breakthrough. But also in that time, we can't expend our energy doing everything. Trying to expend your energy pleasing everyone is going to leave your fruit small, bitter, not ready, not ripe. But when we are able to hone in our focus on that period of time of where we are supposed to be, doing what we have driven and decided to do, committed to those things, loving life, loving where we are, fully living. And it's weird because a lot of people think that discipline is a bad word, but there is freedom in discipline. And when we're able to let go of all the things that we can't control and focus on the things we can control, the things that we can't show up and be every day, fruit is going to produce. You're going to attract the right people. You're going to be contagious. You bring a joy to yourself and your life. And that is what I think, that in my opinion, and what I've experienced in this time, outlasting the temporary represents. But thank you guys all for this time. I wanted to open it up for some questions. It is just such a blessing and honor for me to have this opportunity to share my journey with you. And as I continue on this road of joy, of choosing joy.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Patrick. Any question from the floor? And there's a little microphone on the table. So it's unbelievable. Patrick, I'm so touched because you just have such an indomitable spirit. And I'm so touched by your positivity and your gratitude, your sense of gratitude, choosing joy. And
I'm still blown away by Ray over here, man. Goodness gracious. He's unbelievable. All-star.
there's the little microphone. Don't forget to turn on the little microphone on the table.
Well, I understood that happiness is based on my circumstances. Trying to chase happiness for situations to change, but within me, and really, in all honesty, and I wish my wife was here. She just like called me out. She was like, "You're not being who I thought you would be as a husband who I fell in love with," and that just challenged me to say, "All right, things in my expectation and circumstances are not the way that I want them to be. But where can I show up? That like what requires zero talent, zero ability for me to make the most of my situation?" I was like, all right, I'm in the hospital. I'm gonna be nice to my nurses today. I'm gonna be, because if anyone's ever been in the hospital for more extended period of time, you get pretty tired of it after a while, them coming in. But I said, you know what? Just because they're doing their job doesn't mean I have to be mean, bitter, etc. Just practicing that gratitude. It was actually my wife and I were playing this card game called the And Game, and one of the questions was that we were playing. It's like a game. It's the conversation starter game. It's really good. And the question was, what do you and your other, like, if there was a phrase that you would title this time in your life, what would you name it? And the question was that I said, it's like, do you believe? Do you believe that, again, man of faith, that none of this caught God by surprise and that he's going to use you through this time and platform? And I said, I do. And with that thought, reframing my mind, submitting my life and will, I said, that gives me joy knowing that my future is in his hands. And I'm excited to see what's next.
It's really an honor for us to have you here, so thank you. The question I had is, how did you figure out how to prioritize your mental, physical, and your spiritual journey, right, in the healing process?
That's a great question. There was not a formula to that. It was more of when you're in the middle of it. And when I was at Craig Hospital, the training that you go through is like a job. They start you off from 9 to about 4 of doing different things of your training of occupational therapy, of weights, or whatever it may be. And I was getting a little burnt out, but I was so fortunate that they had this beautiful garden that they would use for patients to just get away. And I would go there and I just sit there in quiet and stillness. I'd pray. I would journal. I would write. I had a therapist, and I still do have a therapist now. Just someone, and having a therapist was just so nice, having someone that was removed from the inner dwellings of my family, that I could just everything to her. And she was able so well to help me find things, to find balance and understand that it's okay to not be okay right now. Like what you have experienced is called transitional disorder, I guess, or something like that, where you face something so crazy in your life that you're just overwhelmed with emotions. So I was kind of just grasping for things. And the physical part was really difficult, has been the most difficult, because, as I said, like parts of my identity, who I have been, has always been rooted in being able to pick up the furniture and move this and take out the trash and all those other abilities. And I love doing those things. I love being able to serve my wife and family in those ways, but also understanding like, hey, I can take a step back and understand that I'm not less of a man because I can't do those things. And I'm still journeying through those things. It wasn't like that. But but I had to have an open heart to it and just relinquish that stiffness I would have, I had a big amount of resistance. My dad actually did some therapy with me while we were there together. It was extremely helpful for us to learn more about each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Patric, what's the biggest surprise that you learned about yourself through this?
The biggest surprise, gosh. The biggest surprise, I would say, is how people have shown up in my life. Not that I'm shocked that they did, but just the way that people have just loved and supported me in this time. It's really just blown me away. From my friends and family just bringing us dinner as we've moved back here, helping us move in, helping me start my own foundation, like all these things that I did not expect that at all coming back, that it would be, I don't want to say easy, but transitioning back to regular life has been a lot more fluid than I would have ever expected.
Great. You have several businesses right after college. You recruit a bunch of people to go with business. Tell us about your foundation.
Oh yeah. So great question. So through this process and journey of going through a car accident, having a spinal cord injury, recovery, going to the hospital, I've realized that, as you all know better than I do, in the healthcare field, things are really expensive. Really expensive. So I've been so blessed and fortunate that my insurance covered pretty much everything. And I realized that through the families and people that I met, no one asked for this to happen, but it changes and affects everybody in your circle, financially, emotionally, whatever it may be. And I was just like, there's a huge gap to be filled for people that go through spinal cord injuries or life-changing injuries, whatever it may be, because insurance stops at a certain point, especially when it comes to spinal cord injuries. Once you get in a wheelchair, typically the amount of care you get kind of just dwindles off a little bit, but there's still things like getting your driving evaluation. That's $500. Continued care for physical therapy. And what's so awesome about the physical therapy at Brooks is a community. It's a community of people that are going through the same thing that you can just share your struggles and just have hope with. Getting adjustments to your house. Most insurance companies don't cover that. So I was like, there's a gap that needs to be filled. And my heart was moved to start a foundation called the Patric Young Foundation. And pretty much to sum it up, my dream and hope and vision is to help people that face life-altering injuries to reclaim their lives. Because there's a defeatism that you face that you'll never find independence again, that you'll never find happiness and joy and purpose. But for me, all I needed in my journey was emotional support and financial support and those things. So I wish I could help everybody. I wish it was possible, but to the few people that I am going to be able to help through the foundation, I'm just grateful I can do that. So have a first golf tournament actually December 12th, which I'm super thrilled about. And yeah, just how everything has happened so fast. Starting the foundation, it's been 4.5 months since my accident, and it feels like it's been years, but because there's just been so much happening. But I'm so grateful for the journey and being able to use a card in hand that I wouldn't have asked for, but being able to use it for the greater good.
Application that I can help you in the situation. Direct situation. Being 20 years old, sometimes it's hard for them to find that other piece. So I always look for opportunities to share. it's the little work that you probably don't, the work that you probably don't know, that's that my son's sitting up in Georgia Tech, but I'll be able to share this message with him. Let him understand that there's other things outside of school.
Absolutely.
Because it always gets easy, you know, sometimes kids, they look at the parents tell them something, and they're like, to have an example like this. This was just a true compliment.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But God. So I just love how countercultural the Bible is at times. The verse that has been the rock for me is in 1 James, or James 1, where it says, "My brothers and sisters, consider it pure joy when faced with trials of various kinds." And I'm like, what? This is how pure joy is defined? When you're faced with trials? All right, I don't get it, but I'm gonna choose it. And just for me, I just don't know how I could cling to anything else in this time where, you know, a place where I wish I would have been my whole life, 100% dependent on God. But now I'm in that place where I just can't wait to see, because I still, in this accident, in this crisis, in this time, whatever you want to call it, God's still good. Has nothing, the way that he feels about me and loves me, nothing has changed about that. And as I said, like, God has never said, oops, my bad. What am I going to do about that? How am I going to use Patrick now? And when I come to that truth, I just say, all right, let me control what I can control today. How I show up as a husband, as a father, here, how as a son, how it can be used. That's where I find the joy at, in those little things. Yeah, 4.5 months ago, 120 days ago, something like that. Thank you, brother. Yes, ma'am. I felt as though I've always had a purpose and calling. I just didn't know where it was going. I knew being an athlete, being basketball, that was something I did. I did find a lot of value in that. It's hard. It's hard not to when you're an athlete, because especially when you're at that high level, because that's what everybody sees you as. That's what everyone acknowledges you, especially when you're tall. When I'm 6'9", can't tell right now, but I'm 6'9". So, you know, I just knew that there's a much greater calling than me putting a ball in the hoop or stopping the ball going in the hoop, than just doing that. And as I said, I envisioned having an opportunity. Didn't know if that was going to be preaching or whatever it would be, but impacting people, because, you know, I want to be impactful versus just making people feel a certain way about a game and excited about that. Something that actually leaves people with something in their hearts and say, all right, how does that message affect my life moving forward? So if this is my calling, I'm going to keep walking in it. Anybody online? Okay.
Obviously a lot about your faith and also,
Yeah. Atomic Habits is a fantastic book. Fantastic book. That's by James Clear. Really easy. You started reading it yet? You started reading it? Jason Wilson is a really good influence. He wrote Cry Like a Man, and that helped me to really understand what masculinity is supposed to look like. Podcast wise, gosh, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Not as much because I'm not driving right now. I can't listen to as many as I used to. Like that's the perfect time to get a podcast in. But Ed Milet, he's one of my favorites as well. And gosh, got you. The book that when I was in the middle of my crisis was The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. That was a fantastic book. That the obstacle is the way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Good man.
Obviously, that foundation has been very talented. So, thank you.
His wife, his mother, my wife.
So let's get that straight here, all right? Easy.
Dad's not focused.
It's hard to say. It would be a lot more difficult for sure. Yeah, it'd be much more difficult to go through any type of life change crisis without love and support. I think that is we're human beings. We're created to have relationships and connection with each other, and that's why in that time I can't imagine people that go through this and don't have someone's shoulder to lean on or someone just holding their hand. Or, just, hey, I'm going to be with you. Don't worry about that. Or whatever, I just can't imagine.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for such inspiring, life-changing story. I do want to mention a quote that my husband came across this morning that I thought was worth sharing, is that if you choose not to find joy in the 5 foot of snow that's out your door, then you will have less joy in your life, but the same amount of snow.
That's good. Got a lot.
So we do have raffles, and Runaz is going to draw we have entry prize. And where is Runaz? Over there. She's going to draw the tickets.
Annabelle, we have 10. So, okay. So
Tickets 144993. Come on now. You want a new car. Oh, they're all the same. Okay. 985.
Yes,
Oh, Cardi Evans. Candy Evans?
Candy, oh, she's not here.
Oh, you snooze, you
Online.
lose.
Yeah.
Are you giving it to her? Y'all are nicer than me.
Want to collect those?
Oh, you're nice. Olga Richardson.
Oh, I think that's also.
What in the world?
A lot of 1 o'clock meetings.
Oh, okay.
Online.
Jose? Brunette?
971, right?
971, my guy. Dang. We didn't make that. Yeah, that was all luck. No name. 145020. 145020. No name. No name. Online? Okay.
That's a blue read on this one.
Delaney Freeman?
Delaney, oh,
There she is.
okay.
Oh, y'all got the money over here.
If you want to shake it.
Oh, give it a good shake. Okay. Oh, she's got the wrong shirt on. One 144-994. Yeah. How many left? 4? Ooh, that gas. That's that hot one right here. Yeah. Yeah. 145021. You don't want that free gas money? All right, don't have that one. Okay, no winner. No name on this one either. 997. 144997. Dang, look at that. You have won a sixth of your gas tank. Three more. 145063. This is a family company, ma'am. Watch your mouth. 144991. Hey! Two more. 990. 144990. No? No? Next. I'm digging deep. There we go. 145072. Oh, names on the back. Good call. Carissa. Carissa C, where is she? Yeah, she won. Look at that. This last one? Okay. Oh, names on the back. Marty West. On Zoom.
Thank you.
On Zoom.
So this is the online.
Thank you.
No, that's online.
Oh,
Okay, I can do.
you got it.
I got it.
Oh, this is Starbucks. Oh, it's big time too.
So this is 145024. We are hearing some shies, okay?
Nobody got it. Oh, and there's the name.
Maybe,
Zoom.
This is also Zoom, so another Amazon gift card. Okay. Oh, Ramadani I can't read the last name, I'm sorry.
Zoom, that's Zoom as well.
144979.
How many Zooms are on here? Oh,
One more for the Zoom. Okay, I shouldn't. Okay. Oh, we got another Zoom.
Another Zoom.
And
I'll get it.
15039. Takes care of all of our online.
Pete, Krush, Pete. How do you say it? All right. Is that all of them?
Marty was just texting. She's like, yes, Marty.
Thank you so much, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you to all the ergs. And I want to say, Patrick, there are lots of messages trickling down. Amazing. Thank you, Patrick. So thank you.